Welcome to the Eye Opener. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. Recently, power outage has become an international topic. On January 9th, there was a nationwide blackout. The power outage had plunged the country into complete darkness. It has become a hot topic on the news for the last couple of days. The Energy Minister of Pakistan, Omar Khan, said in a statement that the power outage was caused by a power plant failure on the night of January 9th. As of January 10th, the power is gradually being restored across the nation. Recently, there has been news circulating on the internet that there may be a major blackout in many parts of the world. The blackout may last for 10 days or longer. So far, there isn't specific reasons or clear explanations for the blackout. Some say that the corrupt forces may counterattack and stir up chaos during this period of time. There are also some reports that the power outages may involve Asia, the United States, and parts of Europe. Now, I must say that there are different rumors circulating on the internet and social media that I've found while researching for this show. Perhaps even many of you have heard about it. This is a very confusing period of time. Not only the situation throughout the world, but also the news is very overwhelming. The fake and truthful news are mixed together, so it's hard to tell. Please be careful when observant when you read this news. On the night of January 9th, a YouTube channel called Vatican News showed a live broadcast of a power outage in the Vatican City. They even showed the images of the city in darkness. But the pieces of news has not been confirmed by any of the sources as of the time of this recording. But there is other news that has been confirmed. On Sunday morning of January 10th, the power went out for more than 24,000 New York State electric and gas customers in Broome County in New York. Some local residents said they heard a boom before the outage. It is still unknown whether it was an explosion. As of Sunday morning, the company has not provided any information on what caused the power outage. The power outage had left many residents without heat in their homes, and traffic signals on highways stopped working. So these rumors of blackouts, combined with the confirmed blackouts in Pakistan, New York State, and even in China, have created a spark and added to the mystery of these rumors. I do not endorse these rumors, nor am I taking any position on them. I'm just sharing with you these incidents and the discussions that are now happening around the world. Why do these rumors make people have doubts? Why are they widespread? It is because there is indeed a lot of complicated things happening that compel people to develop a sense of crisis, especially during this rocky situation in America. The censorship and control of speech in the United States by leftist forces, which suddenly intensified after January 6, is threatening to set off something similar to the Chinese Cultural Revolution in the United States. As you know, President Trump's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts have been completely suspended. The reason is the so-called fear that President Trump's comments on these social media platforms will trigger violence, and they are blaming the January 6 Capitol Hill breach on President Trump. 89-year-old Mikhail Gorbachev, the former General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, is also concerned about the events on Capitol Hill on January 6. For a man who lived through communist rule and was personally a communist leader, said in a recent interview that the riots on Capitol Hill were clearly planned in advance, and it was obvious who planned them. It is clear that their mission was not all that simple. While Gorbachev did not mention specifically who had planned the events, it is clear to many to who would benefit. Gorbachev's comments are hardly seen in the mainstream media in the United States, but it was reported by some major media outside the United States, such as the Russian news media Russia Today. After this incident, the U.S. leftist forces launched a very severe attack on Trump and his allies. In addition to Trump's social media accounts, the Twitter accounts of Attorney Linwood, Powell, and others were also suspended. YouTube also deleted Trump's supporting Steve Bannon's War Room channel on January 8th. Bannon was live on the air with thousands of people watching when it was suddenly removed. The words of leftist activist Joseph Robertson are very representative of the leftist forces and embodies the rationale behind their current actions. He tweeted on January 8th that defending Trump is now a crime against America and that no one has the authority to defend the terrorist traitor who instigated the armed attack on the Capitol. Wow, what a statement. During the Cultural Revolution in China, as soon as you were labeled as anti-socialist and anti-party, you were finished. And even your own parents had to take stand and distance themselves from you. Regarding the blocking of his father's account, Trump's son, Trump Jr., said that Khamenei, the anti-American leader of Iran, and many other countless dictatorships can have Twitter accounts and not be found in any trouble. And even though these people have threatened an entire nation and threatened to kill specific people, but the President of the United States is to be permanently suspended, something that only CCP Chairman Mao would be proud of. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo also tweeted on January 9th, "Silencing speech is dangerous. It is un-American. Sadly, this isn't a new tactic of the left. They've worked in silent opposing voices for years. We cannot let them silence 75 Americans. This isn't the CCP." But right after Pompeo's tweet, he was targeted by leftist media NBC. NBC reported, as some Republicans are distancing themselves from President Donald Trump, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo came to President Trump's defense. It seems to be pointing out the next prey for the leftist forces. Republican U.S. Senator Graham, who has been friends with President Trump for 4 years, suddenly backtracked when Congress certified Biden in the early hours of January 7th, making it clear that he wanted to draw a clear line with President Trump. On January 8th, he was chased and cursed by the American public at the airport and was called a traitor. Graham was escorted by security guards and left in a hurry. It was clear that he was embarrassed. But after Twitter permanently blocked President Trump's account, he also tweeted on the evening of January 8th saying, "Your decision to permanently ban President Trump is a serious mistake. The Ayatollah can tweet, but Trump can't?" This says a lot about the people who run Twitter. On January 8th, Nikki Haley, a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations appointed by President Trump, stated, "Silencing people, not to mention the President of the U.S., is what happens in China, not our country." Despite all the opposition, the leftists have not given up and continue to expand the scope of the censorship. Team Trump's Twitter account that posted President Trump's campaign messages and had nearly 90 million followers was also permanently suspended shortly after President Trump's suspension. The reason given by Twitter for the ban was that it was a violation of Twitter's rules to use another account to continue posting messages and to circumvent the block. The British media, Financial Times, reported that Election Watch, the service used by President Trump's election team to send emails to voters, also abruptly stopped serving the Trump team on January 7th. The Trump team was using the service to send campaign fundraising and other information to voters. But Election Watch was only one of several providers of the email services to the Trump team. However, Dave Lee, a reporter for the Financial Times, tweeted on January 8th saying there hasn't been any Trump emails for more than 48 hours, almost unheard of. So some analysts speculated that other email service providers might have stopped serving the Trump campaign as well. Their behaviors was also attributed to the political pressure from the left against Trump. Facing the leftist freedom of speech infringement, President Trump, who is still the President of the United States, issued a statement through the White House. President Trump says that he is discussing about working with some other social media platforms. Recently, he has also considered setting up his own social media platform. The left's mass blockade has triggered strong reactions in the community. The inventor of email, Dr. Shiv Ayodhya of MIT, issued a statement on January 9th. He tweeted, "As the man who invented email, I will deliver to you a platform that will destroy big tech. I promise." Since Twitter permanently suspended President Trump's personal accounts, many people changed their display pic to the original President Trump's Twitter avatar as a protest to the Twitter's action. At the same time, there are many Twitter and Facebook users of all backgrounds who have left these platforms. They have moved to other platforms such as Parler. Since the sudden surge of new users, it is no coincidence that Parler is also being targeted. As we finalized our scripts, Parler software has been taken down from Google's Android software store and Apple software store. They claimed that the removal of Parler software was on grounds that it had not censored the so-called incitement of violence. That's not all. Parler had been using a server provided by Amazon's web hosting service. But Bezos, Amazon.com, has decided to shut down all Parler's server by 11:59 midnight on January 10th. In response to that, Parler CEO John Matz issued a statement saying it's an attempt to completely remove free speech off the internet. Parler may be unavailable for up to a week as they work to rebuild the networking service online. They are prepared for events like this, and they will never rely on Amazon's proprietary infrastructure and building bare metal products. The leftists' relentless pursuit of right-wing speech then has caused deep concern among some Republican members of Congress. For example, Republican Congressman Devin Nunes, who was the chairman of the House of Intelligence Committee, told Fox News that Republicans have no way to communicate. He told Fox News that Republicans are facing a platform without a voice. Parler is being strangled by Apple, Google, and Amazon. Devin Nunes also posted a message in Parler late on the night of January 9th saying, "Our ability to communicate will likely be shut down tomorrow. Please text FREEDOM to 98078. This will allow me to communicate directly with you." At this moment, in addition to removing free speech and so-called pro-Trump influence, the left continues to attack President Trump himself. Also based on January 6th events at Capitol Hill, congressional Democrats formally initiated impeachment against President Trump after Pence refused to invoke 25th Amendment to resign President Trump from office. House Democratic Representative James E. Silburn said on Sunday the House will vote on President Trump's impeachment as soon as January 12th, arguing President Trump incited a violent attack on Capitol Hill. However, according to Associated Press, the House will probably finish preparations for the impeachment on Monday, January 11th, and may vote on Wednesday at the earliest. Not all Democrats in the House are interested in the impeachment. In the last 2 days, Nancy Pelosi and Democrats started beating the drum of war and calling on their Democratic colleagues to join in the impeachment. However, even the Democrat-controlled House passes the vote, it will be relatively difficult for the impeachment to pass quickly in the Senate. According to a recent report, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell sent a memo on Friday, January 8th. If the House does submit articles of impeachment, it would be no earlier than January 19th, because the Senate is in recess and therefore cannot begin the impeachment trial before January 19th without the consent of 100 senators. If the senators are gathered on the 19th, they will have to first agree on the impeachment. Then the House will have to present the articles on the next day, which will be January 20th. If the Senate decided to vote on impeachment, the Senate trial would ultimately begin either 1 hour or 25 hours after the completion of President Trump's term on January 20th. Therefore, if the Senate decides to proceed the impeachment, they can only impeach President Trump after his first presidency is completed. If President Trump leaves office at that time, this impeachment would turn into a leftist tool used to defame him. It's like what the CCP said when fighting in class struggles. They will knock you down, hold you with one foot so you can never turn over. On January 9th, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo issued a statement. He criticized the U.S. government for the red tape it has put in place over these past decades. It has restricted the U.S. diplomatic interactions with Taiwanese officials. This was to appease the CCP, but Pompeo declared that this would no longer be the case. He announced the abolition of self-imposed restrictions on U.S. relations with Taiwan. This means the Trump administration is further dismantling barriers built by U.S. pro-communist forces. For those Bidens who are eager to take over the reins of power, this is also another buffer zone to stop them from eagerly throwing themselves into the arms of the CCP. Well, that's it for today, my friends. Please like and share, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.